Hey, welcome back to Corbellic Studios. We're going to be doing a painting of an old junkyard dog. This is going to be like one of those dogs from The Sandlot, right? Remember that classic movie when you were a kid, or maybe you weren't a kid, but you know the movie I'm talking about. I was a kid when Sandlot came out, and it's just a classic movie. But yeah, it's going to be one of those big junkyard dogs. I don't know what kind of breed of dog that you want to call that. I'm not too good on knowing dog breeds. I made the mistake in a few of my videos, so we're just going to call this the junkyard dog. But this one's going to be a lot of fun because this one's going to be an abstract one where we're just going to have different colors. We're going to be using oil pastel. We're going to be using any color that we want. We had the proportions. We're working off the projector here. I've sold over 17,000 original paintings on eBay alone, and I sold all of them by using the projector. You can too. I didn't go to art school. I don't know anything about references and color theory, so let's just do this. Look, if I can do it, you can do it. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's always fun when we're doing this because we're thinking about the next painting, right? I should make that into a logo or something, a motto, that I'm thinking about the next painting. I'm not thinking about the current one, I'm thinking about the next one. So let's just get on and make it quick. Whatever happens, happens. It's supposed to happen anyways. We list it, the algorithm loves it, we sell it, on to the next painting. All right, this is our junkyard dog right here. And this one is going to be abstract. We could do anything that we want on here. We could do anything that we want with any painting. So you need to put yourself in that mindset to really work fast, to really work loose, and to do what you want. You know, don't be so confined to thinking that you have to always paint these gallery type of paintings, because you don't. You could just be a kid and draw anything. I mean, I love what Picasso said. It took him 17 years of his life to draw like an adult, all perfect with symmetry. And then it took him 50 years of his life to learn how to paint like a child. All right, so we're gonna paint like a child, abstract. This is one of my original paintings that I've done before, but we're just gonna do it again in a different way. Once you do a painting, you could do it again. You could do as many of your paintings that you want, just in different colors and different themes or different ways to go about it. There is no right or wrong. Like, you still own the intellectual property of the painting that you did. So actually, let's do a background first. Let's do a background of this one. Let's do like a light blue at the top and then maybe like a pink at the bottom. And we do it this way, so that way it's kind of like our version of gesso. Our version of gesso that it's easier for us to paint on later on. And it's also psychologically better on our eyes that we are not staring at a blank white canvas. Now, for me, I'm not worried about that as much, but I understand starting off for a lot of people, it's more difficult painting on a blank white canvas. For me, it just gives me a challenge that I'll go straight into it. You know, I'll really like add more depth on it. I'll add more paint. I don't care. Nothing's gonna stop this train ride. All right, there we go right there. Now, since it's still wet, normally I dry it off some, but we're already gonna go into it with like a watercolor anyway. So let's just start building up on it. Let's not wait. Let's not waste any time. Look at this. And then after I feel like we built up some layer to our doggy, then I could go in with our heat gun and just dry it off some, because it's wet right now, but whatever. This is what's going to make it look that museum look, the je ne sais quoi, is the layers to it. They're gonna be like, wow, that guy really knows what he's doing. Wow, they spent hours on designing the undertones of the. They're going to be using all kinds of those fancy art language words to describe your painting. And you could be like, yeah, that's true. I really made sure that the color reference was directed to the sunlight to the east on this one, because I thought that it was very majestic, and it was a shout out to the forefathers that create all kinds of backstories. Usually when paintings aren't even that great, The thing is, the person is a great salesman as far as the backstory. They make a story first, and then that's what the thing that usually sells in galleries. If you ever see an artist now who's like one of the greats or a great artist, it's usually a painting that has a story to it. And they might not even believe in the story themselves, but they created the story to give it more of a selling point. I mean, movies do the same thing. You ever see, like, why do you think they have behind the scenes shots? And they tell you how difficult it was for the stunts for them to do. And, oh, this is what we had to do to prepare for the movie. You know, it's to sell the story. So you can think about that as well, but we don't have to think about the story as well, because our story is the volume of how we work on eBay. Our story is the algorithm. So we don't have to play those gallery games. We just have to show it. We don't have to deal with the human side, all right? So I'm gonna dry this off now, and then we can really go in with a next layer, and then we'll be done. All right, that's dry enough for me. So now I'm just gonna grab any random oil pastel, do some scrabbles in it, right? Let's do like this around the eye. And I'm not really thinking about the color because this is still a background for me. This is still things that's just going to add to the layer. And if you really want to free yourself from it, where you're not even looking at what's projected, sometimes I do this as well, where I'll just put the light on so I don't see the proportions, because we already kind of have an idea where the proportions is at, where the color is at. But this way I can just really do random things, and it's not so much of what the image is. Whatever it is, we're going to paint over it. I really had to get comfortable in my art when I started off with things that I thought were going to be popular in the art, or things that were the dimension, or things that were the premise of something. I had to get comfortable painting over it or drawing over it, because that's where the layers are at. But that's also where the confidence lies at in your artwork, where you can do something over what was supposed to be intended. A lot of people are scared to draw over or paint over something that they like. They might have drawn a line or painted over a line, and then they liked it so much that they're scared to paint over it again. I don't care. I'll paint over it. I'll do whatever I have to do to get to my mission and get the results. All right, now we can turn it off and let's just work on the dog now. I'm going to do the 1 inch, and I'm going to actually, this time around, I'm going to actually go into the lighter color, which is going to be like our white cream. Let's do it. Let's add a little bit of brown to it. And look, let's do this. Okay, look there. And you can see, look, I'm not thinking about it at all. I don't really know where the color's supposed to go. I don't know at this point. I really don't. I'm just putting it down, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But this way we're adding layers to our painting still, because now we have the acrylic. Now we have the heavy body acrylic that we're putting on. Watch, in the end, this is going to be so amazing. I already know it is. They always are. And this, I'm just using the Liquitex gold color just to give it a little bit of sheen. Now, when I'm working like this, I don't want to paint too much over it with the color that we're doing, because then it's going to defeat the purpose of what we did on the under painting, which is that the watercolors. All right, so now I'm just going to go in with a blue. Look at that. Look at this. Painting is coming together. Let's do a purple. Let's do it like a, yeah, let's do a purple. And let's do a red. Do another piece of red right here. And look, I'm just adding different colors really, because I know that what's going to bring it all together is the proportions that we're using with the projector, where I'm just going to be using the black. And maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. And the thing is, what's so cool about art is if it doesn't work out, then we can always pretend that we intended for it not to work out anyways. We could just say it's a really abstraction dog. That's why I always paint the way that I do, is just in case I could go either way with it. If it doesn't work out, I can say, hey, it was intended that way. It was intended to look like a dog with six eyes and 2 legs and 3 ears. I don't know. We can do whatever we want. All right, now I'm going to touch in with the black now, which is, just to have where our proportions is at, to bring it all together. Look at this. Huh? Look at that. I don't know what I'm doing. See, this looks nothing like my reference, but that's okay. Because as long as we show up, some paintings will work for you and some won't. As long as you show up though, someone will still buy it and it'll still add to the algorithm that you showed up and did a painting. If everything in our life was supposed to be successful in a winner chicken dinner, then what kind of boring life would that be? You can't predict that. That means that you would have no losers. You wouldn't have anything that you would learn from. So there's just nothing to learn from because everything is predictable and they're all winners. Life is not like that. It's about how you pick yourself up and go on to the next painting. How you pick yourself up and go to the next challenge of your life. I don't think anything about it. Because I already declared to myself a long time ago, when I was having such difficulties with creating art and time management, I said to myself, what's the worst that could happen? And I already declared to myself that it doesn't matter because I'm showing up. Also, what's a real game changer is make sure that you just have enough supplies. If you have enough supplies, then you're not worried about your choices because you just get on to the next canvas. But when you're limited on your supplies, psychologically, you want to put so much art and love into that one painting and that canvas because you're like, I don't want to ruin I only have 5 canvases left though. I got to make them all masterpieces. Trust me, I know. Don't lie and say that you never think like that, because you do. And even if you don't know that you do, you do. It's in your mind about the canvas count. Don't think about the canvas count because you can't control it. It doesn't matter. What I mean by you can't control it is that you might think to yourself, well, I only have this many canvases left. I'm going to make sure that each one is a Mona Lisa. Okay, but the market doesn't think that it's a Mona Lisa, so you just wasted your time. So the best thing that you could do is just get yourself to a point where you could invest back into the business, and you could get more canvases. I used to get so excited when the canvas shipment comes, because for me, that's the money, that's everything. It's not so much the paint. I could always get paint. Paint comes and goes. We could always get paint. Paint lasts, or we can make it last. We could always work with the paint. But the thing with the money is the thing that I need to print it on, which is the canvas. I need the canvas. there was times when I needed to pay rent, and I had it all mapped out to what the calendar was on the auction to the canvas, and I would be like nervous if the UPS person didn't come on time to deliver the money, which is the canvases, because I needed that. If they deliver it on that day, then I could produce and I could have time for the 10-day duration, which is counted at the end of the month, and then I could pay rent. See, these are real struggles. These are real things right here. So don't think that like I've been through everything that what you're going through as well. There's no difference. And I used to be like biting my nails. Like, man, I need that canvas to come through. All right, boom, there we go. That's a crazy dog. That is a crazy dog. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to be comfortable doing the crazy. And the reason why is because you can't predict it. So we could be like, oh, that dog doesn't look like a dog, but somebody will pay the most for it. It happens all the time. You have to believe it, and or just not even think about it. On to the next one, and then when the auction happens, it just pops up. I swear to you. And the reason why is because they'll love that it's just different, or it reminds them of one of their ugly dogs. See, I love it because we showed up. I love this painting. Actually, let me do a red framing around it. You know, I love doing these. This is like my signature. Boom. There we go right there. That works for me. Look at that. That's our dog right there. Something crazy, totally different, but we did it together. We showed up. That's all that matters. If you want to learn how you could do this for yourself and you could just turn one of these ugly dogs into money on eBay, then click the link below. Join us for the mastermind meetings that we're going to have this Sunday, and I'm going to see you there.